It's year 3. Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And I'm back, baby. I'm back. Had a good New Year's Eve, turning into New Year's Day. That much I could remember of it, at least. It was a good evening. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to talk about all the news. There's so much to cover. But let me just say, first and foremost, I'm glad to be back here talking to you. I'm glad to be able to see Tawala, to be able to see Stefan, to be able to see...
Go ahead.
You too, Mark.
Say it. Yeah. It hurts, doesn't it? It's going to hurt in 2025.
Yes. All I can say is, I'm not going to tell the full names in order to protect the guilty. But for my New Year's Eve, I went to the annual New Year's Eve gala celebration on Catalina Island at the casino ballroom. This was a choice of my wife. I didn't know anything about it. She got the tickets back in August. And when I say casino ballroom, there's no gambling. It's just a big ass ballroom. And if you've been to Catalina Island, it's very prominently featured. We went over New Year's Eve. I think it was like maybe 3:00 in the afternoon. Had some time to get some food, get in a little nap. Then we put on our clothes. It was black tie optional. I opted not for black tie. If you go to @Mr. Mo Kelly on Instagram, you can see what I wore for the most part. I have some other pictures I haven't put up yet. You get an idea of what I was wearing. But my point is, it was a dressy affair. And when you make your reservations, you can't guarantee that it'll just be you and your guest. You may be placed at a table with other guests. It's not unusual. Wasn't off-putting. And we were put at a table with a couple by the name of Mark and Pam. They're from Orange County. Probably KFI listeners. Probably listening right now. And I'm not going to tell you their last names. Mark and Pam were very, very gracious. They were great fun. They were seated at the table before we were. And you have times in which you're supposed to be seated, and it was buffet style, get your food. There was 7:00, 7:30, 8:00, and 8:30. Mark and Pam were 8:00. Me and La Mujer were 8:00. So we get our food. Food was good. Had beef medallion, salmon, had all sorts of food. And I think at this point I'm maybe 4 Jacks in. Not Jack and Coke. I've cut out the mixer in my old age because I've known that if you add sugar to the alcohol, you're more likely to get sick. All right.
Wait, you're just straight Jack?
Oh, I'm straight Jack.
4 Jack?
No. It was more than 4 before the evening. So I'm saying at this point, I'm 4 Jacks in. I had 2 double neat. Jack, double neat. Okay. I'm not driving. I'm just walking. From our hotel to the casino ballroom is about a 10 to 15 minute walk. That's important. I'll tell you why.
And real quick, Mo was very proud of that.
Yes.
Like he was sure, no driving, no danger.
That's right.
He just had his Jack neat, and that was awesome.
I could dance. I didn't fall down. I didn't get sick. None of that. All right. I'm an accomplished drinker. Don't call me a drunk. That was later in the evening. But we got our food at 8:00, had casual conversation with Mark and Pam from Orange County. All right. I'm not going to say their last name or what they do, but they're from Orange County. And if you happen to know anyone named Mark and Pam who are married, who went to Catalina Island, it's them. Well, Mark and Pam got to the table before we did, and they already had started sharing a bottle of wine between them. They were a very affectionate couple, very gracious, very nice. So I don't mean this with any type of malice or animosity. But I could tell they were getting a little frisky with each other at the table. And at 9:00, the band started playing. I can't remember the name, but I'll try to get it because I want to give them their due credit. It was a really good band. Band started playing at 9:00. And about 9:15, Pam stands up and says, hey, good talking to you guys. Mark and I are going to go back to our hotel room. We'll probably catch you later on tonight. Now, Mark is wearing a tuxedo. He's black tie. And Pam is wearing about a floor-length gown, if I remember correctly. And is it wrong for me to assume that they went back to the hotel to get their freak on?
No.
I'm thinking you're already dressed up for the evening. You've already had a bottle of wine that you share between each other, and it's at least a 10 to 15 minute walk back to your hotel. You're all dressed up, and you're saying you're going to leave the event for some undisclosed reason. I have to assume that somebody got their back blown out. I'm just assuming They got their freak on. Am I wrong to assume that?
I
Mark
hope
and
they
Pam.
did. I hope so. On New Year's Eve, God bless them.
Now, I was thinking if it were me and La Mujer, if we were to leave an event, we probably wouldn't come back because there are a lot of things that you have to do because you have your tuxedo. You have to get yourself ready to go back out again. Sure enough, they did show back up. We saw them again like 11:15 or so.
They did?
Yeah, they did come back. Yeah. Me, I would have been. I would have been done for the night. Yeah, I would have been done for the night. Look, you already been drinking?
Yeah.
And then you have a nightcap, albeit rather early? Oh, I'm done. I am done. I'm going straight to sleep. But to their credit, they came back. Now, there's another couple, and I have them prominently featured on my Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly. They had to be the life of the party. They had to be the couple which had the most fun out of anyone. The guy, he looked like he was an accountant, and his lady friend looked like that she was going to do anything he asked. Absolutely anything.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It was like one of those nights, and guys know what I'm talking about. Like, you know, at the end of the night, she's going to do that thing that you really like.
That special thing?
That special thing. They are dancing in the video, and I think they're
I'm
dancing
going to your Instagram right
they're dancing
now.
Michael Jackson's PYT, and he is going for it. You can tell
he's killing it.
Oh, he looks like look.
But you're right. It's that type of energy of like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen.
They
later tonight.
did not care.
No.
Was he the best dancer in the world? No. But no one had.
This was I thought that this was like an Instagram video where you were just like, I want to party like
No,
this. This
so
is
did
you
I.
that shot this?
Yeah, this is me. That's off of my phone.
That's
I
what
thought
I
this
thought
was
too.
like a GIF or I thought, look, I didn't know that you shot this.
That's a actual live video that I took with my phone of this couple who owned the dance floor. And I know someone listening to KFI right now knows this couple.
He killed it.
I would love to shout them out on the air. And if you happen to know one or both, because they got to be from the area. They got to be.
Not gonna lie, both of them killed it on the dance floor.
They had more fun than anybody in the house.
Because they didn't care.
They did. They talk about dance like nobody's watching. That was them.
That's
all night long. And let me just say, I'm quite sure their after party was better than everyone's too.
Oh, it looks like it. I hear exactly what you. Oh, whoa.
Oh, he was getting it in.
Oh, this is dirty dancing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I want to love you.
Oh, man.
Young thing. Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, go to Mr. Mo Kelly right now. Because this video is everything.
I didn't finish watching it until right now. You guys need to, Mr. Mo Kelly, check it out on Instagram. They absolutely destroy the floor.
And they're like that the whole night. And I didn't want to like intrude upon their evening. You know, I didn't want to like be voyeuristic too much, but I had to get at least one video of them. Everyone was watching them. They did not care. It wasn't like they were performing. They just had the best time of anybody in there.
It was like they were doing it for each other.
Oh, yeah,
and I think that's what it was. They just didn't care about anyone else. It's like, hey.
They were lost in each other's eyes.
Yep. Exactly.
In every way. And it's like, damn.
I love this.
Yes. It was great.
I thought this was a meme.
No.
This is so perfect.
Well, they may be a meme after this because, you know, Labu Hair looked at me and said, why is it you don't look at me like that?
Hey, look, this is dangerous.
All I'm saying is he closed that deal. Oh, he closed that deal.
He had to.
He put in work.
Oh, yes, he did.
He just licked his fingers and like gave her a...
Oh, my God. So check it out right now. Go to at Mr. Mo Kelly on Instagram. You will see, I think it's the most recent posting I have up there. And if you know the couple, if you know him or you know her, please just let us know in the video or Instagram message me and we'll shout them out. I would love to shout them out. They had more fun than anyone. And when we come back, I want to hear what happened here at the station because I hear that Mark and Stefan got some pizza, maybe even Tuala too. And it wasn't an easy process. There was a lot which happened with that. Is that correct?
It was Vietnam. It was quite a journey.
Okay, so when we come back,
yeah,
the Vietnamese pizza journey when we come back.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
before the break, I was saying, go to my Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly, because I have a video that people thought was a meme. No, it was an actual couple at this Catalina Island casino event. Me and my wife were there for New Year's Eve. And shout out to at that Mr. Jones, who was actually doing the sound for the evening, was a listener to the show, and came up to me and introduced himself. So you never know where the later crew listeners are going to be. So shout out to that Mr. Jones, who did the sound that night. But please go to at Mr. Mo Kelly, because I'm trying to find out who this couple is. I know somebody listening knows who they are. I believe, because everyone who came was from Southern California for the most part. We had like the Catalina ferries, which were coming from San Pedro, Long Beach, Dana Point, I think Newport Beach, but they were all Southern California. So they had to be local, and they were the life of the party. I did not want to interrupt them, and I didn't want to be the voyeur just, filming them all night. But all I can say is man to man, pimp to pimp. He got it in.
It is not an exaggeration. He put in work.
He didn't care who was watching. He put it this way. A man with confidence dances like that. Who knows that he is going to close the deal in a matter of hours.
And she kind of fed off of that.
Oh, she
because
did.
She did the same thing on the woman's side.
You mean when they were both dry humping each other?
On the dance floor. Yeah.
On the dance floor. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that happened too, but I mean, her moves too. She rescinded.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. Check it out.
So if you happen to know who the couple is, man or woman, I would love to shout them out. I meant to engage them, but the night got away from everyone. But anyhow, real quick before I get to the Vietnam story of the pizza ordeal, I was about 6 jack shots in, and I know at this point that's about my maximum. They were very, very generous with the pour.
6 is good.
Yeah.
I was proud of you.
And it was 6 over, I guess, about 4 hours, because we got there at 8:00, got my first drink, and I'm double jack neat. So I know I had 3 double jack neats. That's 6 shots.
Like in between. Okay, yeah.
No mixer. And I shouldn't have had dessert because I was extra sugar. I'm trying to be very methodical about this. But I had a good amount of food to carry me throughout the evening. Did not get sick. Yes, I was drunk. Absolutely. But I was safe because it was only a 10 to 15 minute walk back to the hotel. We were staying at the Blanca. If you know, the island, it's relatively close. And it was cold, but not after 6 shots. No.
Ooh, liquor blanket.
Yo, yes.
You were warm inside.
Oh, I was warm. They had a coat check and everything. It's like, I don't need no stinking coat.
I love it.
All right. Now, what happened with the pizza here?
Well, you were kind enough to take care of me and Foosh. We were the only 2 people here New Year's Eve. And so, first off, just thank you for being generous and looking after us by allowing us to get a pizza on your dime. But here's the deal. We couldn't find anybody on New Year's Eve who would deliver. They were all closing down, or they were too busy to deliver. So this is the definition of hell. We've got free pizza dangling in front of us, but we can't have any. Finally, after, I think it was hours, Foosh and I were going back and forth, looking on Yelp.
Oh, for sure.
Calling places, looking online, putting in orders, thinking it was a done deal, only to hit the last button and be told, nope, sorry, we're done for the evening.
Yeah.
Finally, I find a place, quite late, actually. And I'm not going to name the place.
Oh, he changed his mind.
Well,
come on.
It's a small business, and let's just get to the end of this, and you'll understand. Finally, find a place. They say, okay, it'll be 45 minutes. And again, quite late. After 45 minutes or so, I am finishing up a newscast, and I see that I've gotten 6 calls, rapid fire. I call the guy back. It's the delivery guy.
This is 9:30, by the way.
And it's an Asian guy, clearly, who does not speak English very well, and he's just shouting at me. He's shrieking at me. Apparently, he can't find the place, so even though I left very, very explicit details, I explained to him, park on Olive Street, you go through the gate, you look for the big red iHeartRadio, iHeartMedia sign on the right. It's easy to find. We'll meet you in the lobby. But we're both working, so You've got to text us when you're in the lobby. And he can't cope with it. He's shrieking at me. So we go back and forth. And he starts yelling at me, and I'm not going to yell in the pidgin English because I don't want to be protested off the air.
But we get an idea.
But yeah, it's an older Asian man who can't speak English shrieking at me, and I can barely understand anything he's saying. But I do understand he's saying, "It's my last order of the night. Do you know how much I make?" And I'm telling him, "I'm sorry, but I tipped you in the app. It's just a delivery, and we
left him a nice tip." Yeah,
I don't know what else to tell you. Just meet us in the lobby, and we'll send you on your way. Come to the iHeart building. I don't know what he's been through the rest of the earlier part of the evening, but he's clearly on the brink of sanity, and I'm not exaggerating. He's shrieking. So I send Foosh goes down to meet him the first time. Can't find him. I'm texting with Foosh, talking to the guy. The guy can't see Foosh. Foosh says he's waving his phone around, and I'm like, "Can you see him? Can you see him?"
Was he like up on the loading dock side or something?
He was on the Olive Street side.
Yeah, I went on to the Alameda side. He was on California.
California's the side street coming up to the loading dock.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not an insignificant distance to get from here in the studio down to the street in between newscasts. Okay?
It's impossible. No, it's literally impossible.
Right.
Running top speed.
So
hold on real quick. I got back. I just saw Mark in the camera because the segment had finished and it was just like,
there's no newsman.
And that was all it was. He was waiting. I had to shoot off the sounder. He was just waiting.
I mean, I could have started talking, but you need the sounder because it's an official KFI newscast. Anyway, so the guy's losing his mind, the delivery driver, and finally I tell him, "Okay, I'll come down this time. We're going to make a second attempt, but you got to come to the door." I mean, because we paid for a pizza delivery. It's not a pizza dead drop. I didn't agree to meet you someplace to hand off the pizza. Please deliver the pizza. We only have limited time. So I go down, race to the elevator. I'm running to the stand, and I feel I've got my phone up to my ear. I feel like I'm Jack Ryan trying to stop a nuke, and this guy is shrieking at me in the phone.
Tom Cruise, Jack? Not Jack. I'm thinking Jack Reacher running.
Not Jack Reacher around. No.
I said Reacher.
Oh, okay, okay.
Damn.
So it's a race against time because this guy has indicated to me he's on the verge of leaving without giving us the pizza because he's just had enough. And I'm like, "No, please, I'm almost there. Can you see me?" I'm waving. I'm right here. I'm just like seconds away. And finally, I get to him, and it's as I suspected, an older, absolutely furious Asian guy. And I'm wheezing. I get to the car out of breath because I was just at a full sprint to get to the street. And I'm like, "Okay, all right, I'm sorry about the trouble. I don't know what caused the problem, but I'm here. Mission accomplished. At least Happy New Year's." And he was so angry. If he could have thrown the pizza at me, he could. He yanked it out of that hot box thing, and just like jams it at me, and peels out. Not even a goodbye. He's like, I'm not going to do the accent.
Can you get your tip back?
No.
He's spitting that food. You know that, right?
Well, so I get up here and I'm wondering if we got the special.
He asked. He's like, "Did you get a special?"
But
we took a slice each.
But the guy told me your food's probably cold, and then he just peeled off. It was traumatizing for everybody involved. This guy could have gone on to commit murder by the end of the night because I've never seen somebody that worked up. And we weren't really asking anything of him. We've tried to order food here from time to time in the past, and occasionally some delivery people can have trouble with the directions. But this guy wasn't even going to do it. He's like, "There's no place to park. You want to pay for my ticket?" And I'm like, no.
I forgot about that.
Just come to the lobby. It's easy to find. You go past Morton's. People do it all the time. But that's it. So we choked down that pizza, and we can't tell you how damn grateful we are.
So because here's the thing, pulling the curtain back once more. We got all of Mo's information. He sent it with no issues. He gave us all the zip code, everything. We're all set. And I literally, and Mark can attest to this. I went in there like, "Hey, we got the credit card number. Let's get the pizza." We could not find anything. And so it took so long. And so we're both just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, we have this opportunity to have some free food, and we could not get it delivered. It took so long.
That's like a rejected Rod Serling Night Gallery plot that takes place in hell. Yeah. You can have the pizza, but nobody can give it to you.
It's the one with the guy, he loses his glasses.
Time enough at last.
Oh, well, yeah, that's the that's the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
But anyway, so thank you for that. We're thinking of a way we can repay you somehow.
No. You still need to let us know what restaurant it was.
Well, I don't want to say it on the air because I don't know if it's this guy's business or if he was just an employee who had been through hell that day. And, it's the New Year's. You want to cut some people some slack, even if they want you to rot in hell. This guy I've never seen a human being this angry by the time he took off.
I'm not going to say the name, but Mark was ready to just obliterate this place. I don't even remember the name anymore, but he was ready. And so now he's like, I don't want to say the name.
Well, tell me, I'll say the name.
No, because
I love blasting people who do wrong.
We don't know the whole story behind what happened. It could have been
we need
a
to
guy
let
just
them
having a
know.
bad
We
day.
need to get him on the air sometime.
Yeah.
And find out. Get their side of the story.
Oh, that would actually be cool.
Oh, you want to drag this out, do you?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We want to get to the bottom of this. We want to see if it was your fault.
We ordered a pizza for delivery. How could anything be our fault?
Maybe you gave him the wrong directions.
I couldn't have been more clear with the directions if these were the most remedial, explicit directions possible.
I will, backing up Mark, he was very...
Don't back him up.
He was very explicit with the directions.
The thing that we did that apparently made this guy want to kill me and my whole family was we ordered a pizza for delivery. And that's it.
Heaven forbid it actually got delivered, huh?
I don't. We'll give them another. Why don't we try them again?
Okay, we'll try it again tomorrow. Since tomorrow's Friday, we'll try it again and we'll see if we get the same result.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Okay.
If he comes,
we'll put him on the air.
Tomorrow would bring him
back.
Yeah.
It will be a different story.
Okay.
I'm warning you, pizza driver. It will be a different story if you yell anything at me.
Okay, we got to go to break. I just want to pay this off. Last segment, I was telling you about this band who was featured entertainment for the Catalina Island Casino New Year's Eve celebration, the 51st annual. The band is at Christian, CHRISTIEN .Anthony Group. Christian.Anthony Group. Christian with an E. CHRISTIEN .Anthony Group. They were fantastic. A 10 out of 10. A listener passed that on to me. We're still trying to find out who this marvelous couple is on my Instagram page. Go there at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly. They danced the night away. They had more fun than anybody known to man. I want to be them when I grow up. And I just want to find out who they are so I can shout them out. Hopefully they were where they were supposed to be and not with someone they're not supposed to be.
Not with my pizza guy.
KFI AM 640. We're going to turn the corner when we come back and talk about some of the serious news which happened since New Year's Eve. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And I need not tell you what has been happening in this country over the past, let's say, 36 hours. I need not tell you or remind you what has happened in New Orleans. And we can get into the weeds of why the terrorist, I'll call him a terrorist, did what he did. We can talk about what were his motivations. And for me, it's less about that. I'm only talking about New Orleans at the moment. It's less about his motivations and more about how we as a country are going to deal with this moment. Because I think it's fair to say that since we live in a free country, what I mean by that is free, we have freedom of movement. We can go convene in open spaces. We can go to concerts. We can go to sporting events. We can go to movie theaters. And in this free country, invariably, there is a vulnerability that doesn't exist everywhere else. And unfortunately, that's the cost of freedom. Because what happened potentially happened in Las Vegas and what did happen in New Orleans, very low tech. We're talking about a vehicle that anyone can get and go just about anywhere in this free country. And if you've seen, unfortunately, some of the video regarding New Orleans, This guy turned down a side street about 3:15 in the morning and then started driving top speed, trying to take out as many people as possible. And at least 15 have died so far. But here's the unfortunate and uncomfortable reality that I think all of us here in America are going to have to deal with, like it or not. When you're talking about the actions of an individual, and it's gone back and forth as far as what the FBI and President Biden have said. First, they thought that they didn't believe that this person acted alone. Now, I think President Biden said today in the press conference that they believe that he did act alone. Well, whether he did or did not, that's neither here nor there as far as what I'm trying to say tonight. I think we have to have a very honest conversation with ourselves and other Americans about whether we're ready to cross this Rubicon, as they say, regarding terrorism. Many, many years ago, we would remember the news reports of what happened in Israel, or how a suicide bomber, heaven forbid, would walk into like a coffee shop and self-detonate. And I remember as a much younger person, it's like, wow, what would that look like? What would that be like if something like that happened here in America? And we're not quite there yet, but I think we're on the doorstep of that. When you have individuals, very low tech, and this guy not only had a truck in New Orleans, he had IEDs with remote detonation capabilities. We're there. We're basically there. And because we are in a free country, there's nothing preventing a single idiot or a coordinated group of idiots and terrorists. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just trying to be very, very pragmatic and realistic about where we are. There's nothing preventing someone with ill intentions, regardless of motivations. We've seen it with mass shootings, and it's not fundamentally different from that other than the motivations. It's very, very simple, my word, to get something very low tech like a truck and drive it to a place where a lot of people are. And I can't actively worry about it. I don't think anyone can actively worry about it, because this could have happened, if not on New Year's Eve / New Year's Day, it could happen tomorrow. Whereas it was in the French Quarter, New Year's Eve, well, it could be at a Target in your neighborhood tomorrow. It could be at a football game. It could be outside of a concert venue. It could be near a movie theater. We've seen similar incidents like this before. And I say that's the cost of freedom, because you notice this doesn't happen, to the best of our knowledge at least, this doesn't happen in North Korea. Why? Because there is no freedom. This doesn't happen in China. Largely, there's no freedom. That's the cost. That's the price. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying it is a fact. I don't know what is happening right now in America. I'm not going to connect what happened with the Cybertruck Tesla in Las Vegas with what happened in New Orleans. But I will say this. There may not have been a direct connection. In other words, a coordination between these two individuals. They may not have been connected by motive. But they are connected in our American conscience, where we have to look at these events as possibly a change in what life is going to be like. And I don't say that lightly. I think we have to be aware that we're going into the next stage of having to try to protect Americans. We saw a different stage with the 93 bombing of the New York Trade Center. World Trade Center in 1993. We saw a different stage, obviously, after 9/11. And I think we're now at a different stage where we as Americans are going to have to look at life just a little bit differently. We have to be quite aware of our surroundings in a way that maybe we weren't before. Going back to my thoughts of what Israel used to be. And I know it could be a very, very scary proposition. And I was talking about this with Tuala, and I'm quite sure he'll have thoughts about this. This is not something we can bomb our way out of. This is not something we can invade our country out of. This is not something that we can eradicate as far as this group of people, that sovereign nation, that particular terrorist group, that militia, because it's an idea. And from what we know about the person in New Orleans, and I'm intentionally not using any names here because I'm not trying to highlight them or promote them or their cause. But what we do know is it's an idea that festered and was radicalized here in America. It didn't happen outside our borders. It happened right here. And for whatever reasons, this individual or other individuals were open and receptive to it. It's not something we can eradicate by going into the Middle East. We tried that obviously with Afghanistan. We tried it with Iraq. We've tried it in different ways with Iran. And we see what's happening in the Middle East right now. They're not all connected, but they're not all disconnected. And it's not something that we can bomb our way through. Terrorism is an ideology. I should say terrorists use an ideology. The mechanism is terrorism to inject fear. And I was not necessarily disappointed. I was very surprised that they postponed the Super Bowl for one day. I was very surprised. And this is just speculation on my part because, you know, America, capitalist society, everything's about money. I was very surprised that they waited one day for the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame and Georgia, which was had tonight. It said to me, and I may be out of turn for saying this, but it said to me that there might have been a credible threat. Might have been a credible threat. And they had to institute and implement other measures to make sure that nothing else happened. I think we're at a new point. I think we are at a new stage. And since these were low tech in nature, I expect that concerts, open air concerts, will have different measures used. I think that sporting events will be different going forward. It's not like the hard targets of an airport. I'm talking about where you and I go on an everyday basis. I think malls will be treated differently. We have to look at this fundamentally differently because this threat has evolved. And all of us have to do our own due diligence. We're going to talk about more of this in just a moment when we come back. But I was thinking about all this because despite the celebratory aspect of New Year's Eve, wake up New Year's Day and you realize things are very different now in 2025 than 2024. And I'm not saying that because we have a new person in the White House that that's going to change anything or help anything or hurt anything. I believe it's smaller than that. What I mean is what we're dealing with is not global. It is not a nation. It's not a large militant group. It's Americans.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We had a good time starting off the show talking about my New Year's Eve and also the Later crew, their New Year's Eve. But now we had to turn to something more serious. What has happened in America the past day and a half or so with the strange explosion in Las Vegas. Let me put it that way, of that Cybertruck Tesla, which had, I think it was a Green Beret, former Green Beret, and explosives in it. Don't know if it was intentional. Yes, it was suicide because I believe he shot himself in there.
No, it was, and it is now being reported that was intentional, that he rented the vehicle and drove there intentionally with the plan of detonating it in front of the Trump Hotel.
Don't know the motivations beyond that as far as whether he was trying to harm other people as well. Thank goodness it did not. But I was talking about, well, I don't know if you heard, I was talking about how I think America is in a new moment. And this is the only thing that I'm going to say that's political with respect to this, because this is when your elected officials and cabinet members are really, really important. And I do hope that President-elect Trump is up to the task. I do hope that likely Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is up to the task. I do hope future Director of Homeland Security Kristi Noem is up to the task. I do hope that new Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard is up to the task. If not, then Americans are going to die. I can't be any more blunt than that.
It's tough because when the first thought, the knee-jerk reaction and the first statements from President-elect Trump is, see, this is what I'm talking about. This has everything to do with immigration, and blaming it on an issue wholly unrelated, this being homegrown terrorism. We cannot have leadership that strikes out like that first. obviously not knowing the facts. That was disheartening to me. It was just disheartening because I'm like, wow, you just went out knee jerk, just shot out the side of your neck a response to something, and you obviously did not have the facts, and all you did is worsen a situation that did not have to be. You did not have to blame this on immigration. That was the wrong thing to do.
Here's what happens now. Now we've been pushed in the wrong direction as far as what this is, which we should be focusing on. And yes, illegal immigration is a legitimate issue. It's just not applicable to this at all. And when you talk about terrorism and people dying, there's a fear component to it. And if you point that fear in the wrong direction, people are put in danger. People die who are innocent and have nothing to do with this. I hope, and I mean this sincerely, I hope these elected officials and nominated officials are up to the task. This is not a game. We always talk, this is not a game. And I expect that, put it this way, for everything that does happen, there are probably 10 things that don't happen that our federal government stops before it actually gets to enacted, you know, before something becomes operational. You may not hear about it until arrests are made, but there are plots all the time. And hopefully we're on our A game, because I don't want to have another 9/11 because our government wasn't doing what it was supposed to do.
The scariest part about the situation, I think, for most of us looking at both of these incidents, be they connected or not, and you spoke on this, is that they both come from an idea that is anti-American, an idea that these two individuals said, we want to inflict fear and terror upon the citizens of this country. And the hardest thing for us to fight against here in America, the land of the free, home of the brave, is ideas and beliefs. We can't fight against that. That's something we're not ready for. We're not ready to deal with mass shootings in schools. We're not ready to deal with something on that level.
Well, here's the thing. If we continue approaching it as if it's a group of people, a body, or a nation state, then we're going to lose. Because it's not that, and it's not over there. It's right here. And it's American citizens. Now, however you want to twist that politically, that's up to you. But if you keep playing that game, more people are going to die. I cannot make it any more plain than that. These are American citizens who are being radicalized that we know of. I mean, you know, for every one that we know of, quite sure there's another 50 we don't know of who are planning and plotting at various means and levels, varying levels of sophistication and technology. I hope everyone is on their A game, because they're telling you right now they're coming for us. You're not going to legislate your way out of this. You're not going to bomb your way out of this. This is something that is bigger than a particular group that you can target. This is, again, an idea, a feeling, a belief structure, and it's being radicalized right here. It's not something that needs to come across the border. This is being born here. It's raised here. It's being radicalized right here. And let's not forget, these are former military individuals. So there's another component to all this that needs to be discussed. What is happening and where is it happening in that either education process or that training process, which may make someone either more susceptible or more open to these different types of ideologies. I hope that you chose right for president, and I hope that this president chose the right people, because loyalty and competency are not synonyms. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Critical thinkers wanted.
KFI
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live